Hello, my name is Carol Wingo, and the title of my presentation is Diversity and Social Justice Champion Corporate versus LGBTQIA. And this topic was inspired by one of the issues that we discussed in our text by Finsterbush, which is same-sex marriage harmful to America, which was page 72 to 73. I also chose this topic because Dr. Allen asked us to pick an organization or group that we're not a part of. And as a heterosexual, I am obviously not a part of this group. And then I also have friends who do consider themselves a part of the homosexual community. However, I don't know much about it. I don't really get involved. So it gave me an opportunity to do more research and become more knowledgeable. So I was pretty excited about that. So before I get into the meat of everything, I wanted to make sure that we go over some terms. There are many definitions when it comes to sexuality, but I felt like this one was the most simple, so I went with it. Sexuality can simply be defined as an integral part of who we are, what we believe, what we feel, and how we respond to others. Now, many people are familiar with LGBT, but it has now risen to LGBTQIA, and I took the liberty of taking some definitions presented by UC Davis. So obviously, most people know lesbian is women who are attracted to other women. And then G is for gay, men who are attracted to other men. However, it can also be used for women as well. B for bisexual, which is a person who's attracted to both men and women. Transgender, which is someone whose sex does not represent who they are as a gender. So someone who was born a man with male parts inside really feels like a woman, and gets very complex from there. And then queer is not fitting into norms or being abnormal, so they don't really fit into the other boxes that we discussed before now, and they're just different but special in their own way. And then I is for intersex, which is someone who is naturally born with male and female parts, which is formerly referred to as hermaphrodites, which is no longer the appropriate term, which I learned recently. And then asexual, which is someone who is not sexually attracted to either sex. Now, I also want to give a little bit of a history lesson. So I know there's a lot of different sexual orientations and sexual identities, but before 2017, it was all really just considered homosexuality. Homosexuality was once considered a disorder or a result of bad parenting. The American Psychiatric Association published the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder, also known as DSM-1, back in 1952, calling it sociopathic and a sexual deviation. Now, transgenders, which formerly were known as transsexuals, in 1923, it was separated from homosexuals and termed gender dysphoria. And they did use what we call sexual confirmation surgery. They did do that back in those times. However, insurance companies would not pay for those surgeries unless a person went to a therapist or a psychiatrist and was officially diagnosed with gender dysphoria, which, plays into the part that transgenders have a mental disorder, which also leads them open to discrimination. Back in December 15, 1973, the American Psychiatric Association removed homosexuality from its list of mental disorders, which is a step in the right direction in their DSM-2. And then more recently, in June 26, 2015, the Supreme Court rules that states cannot ban same-sex marriage, so now everyone has the right to be happy and in love on paper. Now, I do want to go over some core issues. So, religion is definitely a huge one. In America, we believe in religious freedom. However, it is a very heavy Christian nation, and many Christians believe that homosexuality is immoral, is a sin, and often use the Bible against the community. So that's definitely one of the issues they deal with. Also, adoption. Not every, but most families want to have children in their life, and some same-sex couples are discriminated against and not able to raise a child. People think that it's a bad environment for children, that they will grow up thinking it's normal to be in a same-sex marriage, or that the child would eventually grow up to be homosexual as well. Also, disease. While every human can get a disease, especially HIV/AIDS, in the past it was known to be more of a homosexual disease, but thanks to sex education, homosexuals are now practicing safer sex, and AIDS is not as big of a problem as it was back then. Family life. People who come out to their family, sometimes their family turns their back on their children, which can lead to high rates of suicide in the homosexual community or the LGBT community. School life. Obviously, going to school is hard. You're dealing with people, all different types of people, but growing up being homosexual or not what's considered normal, it can definitely be harder. Even teachers have known to bully those who are a part of the LGBT community. Schools have trouble implementing rules to protect them because schools feel like they have to balance protecting their students while also respecting the religion and ideology of the students as well. So school is definitely an issue. LGBT rights, which I'm going to get more detailed about in a later slide. And then violence. Violence is definitely an issue in the LGBT community. LGBT people are twice as likely to be targeted as African Americans, and the rate of hate crimes against them has surpassed that of crimes against Jews. The most recent one that I can think of is definitely the Pulse nightclub massacre in Orlando, which definitely brought to light the hate for the LGBT community, and definitely let us know that there's an issue that needs to be resolved. Dominant and subordinate groups. The most dominant group is definitely the federal and state government, as they are the ones making the rules and enforcing them. They are the ones that are making policies that can either help or go against the LGBT community. For instance, Trump recently, with the ban of transgender people serving in the military. Also, the Trump administration is arguing that an existing law, the Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, does not bar an employer from firing a gay employee because he or she is gay. So they're trying to take away gays being protected from being, terminated just because of who they are. And then obviously the church, as I mentioned earlier, religion has a very large influence on the way people think. Subordinate groups, obviously the people of the LGBTQIA community, as they are the minority. So, diversity and social justice, corporate opposition. So, these are companies who have been known to not be very supportive of the LGBT community. Chick-fil-A, for one, as many people saw on the news, their CEO had mentioned that they quoted that we are very much supportive of the family, the biblical definition of the family unit. We are a family-owned business, a family-led business, and we are married to our first wives. We give God thanks for that, which rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. They felt like they weren't being supported by Chick-fil-A. So a lot of protests uprooted from that. They called it a National Same-Sex Kiss Day, where homosexual couples went to the establishment taking pictures of themselves in front of the company kissing. And then there was also some supporters of Chick-fil-A, the former Arkansas governor, Mike Huckabee, dubbed it Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day, which called for many people to go and spend their money at Chick-fil-A because they're supportive of the traditional family. Salvation Army, which has a history of active discrimination as well. Some gay couples are not getting the donations just because they are gay. Also, they have been known to support a lot of anti-gay policies. Cracker Barrel, back in 1991, which I know was kind of a long time ago, but 11 employees were fired for not displaying normal heterosexual values. And then they're also not supportive, as they don't have benefit packages for couples who are in a same-sex relationship. It's only for heterosexual couples. So this leads me to my diversity and social justice champion, and I decided to focus on Target, as they have made a lot of changes to be more supportive, and it's also been in the news a lot. So Target stated on their website, "We believe that everyone, every team member, every guest, and every community deserves to be protected from discrimination and treated equally. Consistent with this belief, Target supports the Federal Equality Act, which provides protections to LGBT individuals and opposes action that enables discrimination." So Target Vice President and Chief CSR Officer, her name is Laisha Ward. She promised to make a year-round commitment to support the LGBT community. She stated, "We're not born with pride. We take pride in celebrating who we were born to be." Now, they are not all talk. They have definitely made some changes in the way they operate to show that they are supportive of the LGBTQIA community. So they definitely one act that they did was allowing transgender people to use the bathroom of their choice. They wanted to make sure that everyone felt safe and comfortable in who they are, and that which bathroom they use is really not that important. They are also supporters of GLSEN and the Family Equality Council. Family Equality Council is a group that works to change policies to ensure all families are respected, loved, and celebrated, especially those with parents who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer. And then the GLSEN is an organization that is the leading national education organization focused on ensuring safe and affirming schools for all students. So, being supportive of certain groups definitely reflects well on them. And then also, they worked to remove gender-based categories in toys in home departments, as they felt it was not necessary for them to decide what's normal for a girl to play with or what's normal for a boy to play with. So that was a really great step for them. They also sell a lot of Pride apparel, which people weren't happy about. So they're very, very supportive of the community. Which leads me to my last slide, my references. They're definitely scholar peer reviewed, and there's definitely a lot more information out there, so I definitely suggest researching and looking for yourself, as it is a very interesting topic. There's a lot more positive results than I expected, not very much negative, which is a very, very good thing. So again, thank you for listening, and I hope I didn't speak too fast. 15 minutes seems very short, but I will post my slide also with my presentation. Thank you.